What's going on, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video here on NHL 20. Today we're going to be doing another career simulation, and for the first time it will be with a goalie. Today we'll be seeing how EA predicts Carter Hart of the Philadelphia Flyers career will play out. Like always, we're going to be controlling another team and doing whatever we can to stay out of the way of the Philadelphia Flyers in the simulation. Then we're going to simulate year by year and check on Carter Hart's stats as well if he wins any awards. Now let's see how Carter Hart is looking heading into his first full regular season in the NHL. So after showing a glimpse of what he can be capable of at the NHL level last season, EA has Carter Hart in the starting position for the Philadelphia Flyers over Brian Elliott. He's 84 overall and has medium elite potential. On top of this, he has some decent stats to start off, including 90 speed, 88 angles, and 87 rebound control. Let's see if this is enough for him to possibly take home the Calder and maybe even make a run for the Vezina. In year one of having Carter Hart as the #1 goalie, the Flyers end up finishing 10th in the NHL, and shockingly went on to win the Stanley Cup in 6 games. In the regular season, Carter Hart played 59 games with a record of 31, 24, and 2, including 5 shutouts. His save percentage was a .908, and his goals against average was a 2.81. In the playoffs, he played another 25 games, capturing 16 wins and 9 losses. He added another shutout, and his .914 save percentage and 2.67 goals against average was enough to take home the Stanley Cup. With all this, Carter Hart is already up to an 87 overall, and doesn't win any personal awards, but who cares, he already has his name on the cup. After winning the Stanley Cup the year before, the Flyers finished 12th in the NHL but fall in the second round to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Carter Hart's regular season is very similar to his first, as he played in 60 games with a record of 31, 23, and 4, including 4 shutouts. His save percentage was a .914, and his goals against average was a 2.59. In the playoffs, he played 11 games, going 5-5-1 with a save percentage of .909 and a goals against average of 2.67. He increases 2 overalls to an 89 and also signs a 2-year extension worth $6 million per year. Year 3 is a good one for the Flyers as they finish 5th in the NHL but lose to the eventual Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils in round 2 in just 7 games. Carter Hart's regular season finished with a career high 7 shutouts in 59 games, and in those 59 games he went 33, 21, and 4. He held a .912 save percentage and a 2.54 goals against average. In the playoffs, Carter Hart put up a record of 7-5-1 but had a very respectable .929 save percentage and 2.1 goals against average. Carter Hart is now up to a 90 overall, and somehow Craig Anderson of all people end up taking home the Vezina this year. Year 4 sees the Philadelphia Flyers finishing 16th in the NHL and just barely missing out on the playoffs. Carter Hart ends up putting up a record of 35, 27, and 5 throughout 68 games, including 8 shutouts. His save percentage comes out to be a .916, and his goals against is a 2.45. Hart stays put at 90 overall and signs a 7-year, $7.8 million per year extension with the Flyers. In the first year of his new deal, Carter Hart leads the Philadelphia Flyers to a solid regular season, finishing 7th in the NHL and back in the playoffs. Sadly, it isn't a long run though, as they're eliminated in round 1 in just 7 games to the New Jersey Devils. The regular season sees Hart going 35, 20, and 5 with 3 shutouts on the year. His save percentage was a .909 and his goals against average is 2.66. In 7 playoff games, he stepped up, putting up a .938 save percentage and a 1.99 goals against average. Good numbers, but it still wasn't enough to get past the New Jersey Devils. Carter Hart decreases 1 overall after this and is now sitting at an 89 overall heading into year number 6. Year 6 once again sees the Flyers back in the playoffs after finishing 9th in the NHL, but can't get out of the first round where they are eliminated by the New York Rangers in just 5 games. Carter Hart is in the regular season and had a very solid year with a record of 40, 17, and 6, including 6 shutouts. His save percentage was a .920 and his goals against average was 2.41. In the playoffs, he went 1-3-1 with a .909 save percentage and a 2.81 goals against average. Carter Hart is now back up to a 90 overall. Year 7 finds the Flyers missing out on the playoffs once again after finishing 28th in the NHL. Despite this poor season from the Flyers, Carter Hart's numbers don't take too bad of a hit. Hart finished the year with a goals against average of 2.77 and a save percentage of .912. His record was 30, 29, and 7, and he finished the year with 4 shutouts. With this, Carter Hart is still sitting at 90 overall. After an abysmal season the year before, Year 8 has the Flyers back in the playoffs as they finished 16th in the league. In the playoffs, as the 8th seed in the East, they upset the Leafs in round 1 and made their way to the Eastern Conference Finals where they lose to the Washington Capitals. In the regular season, Carter Hart went 36, 21, and 6 and put up 5 shutouts. His save percentage was a .920 and his goals against average was a 2.61. In the playoffs, Hart went 9-9 with a .914 save percentage and a 2.87 goals against average. Carter Hart is still sitting at 90 overall, and hopefully the Flyers build off this big year. Once again, the Flyers are back in the playoffs as they finish 15th in the league. In the playoffs, they once again fell short to the eventual Stanley Cup champions, this time the Columbus Blue Jackets. Carter Hart went 37, 24, and 5 in the regular season, along with a .912 save percentage and a 2.79 goals against average. In the playoffs, Hart struggled as he went 6-7 with an .889 save percentage and a 3.43 goals against average. Despite this, he's still at 90 overall. Year 10 is the Flyers missing the playoffs as they finished 22nd in the NHL. Carter Hart's season was more of the same as he went 33-27-8. He had 5 shutouts on the year as well as a .915 save percentage and a 2.77 goals against average. Carter Hart is still at 90 overall. In year 11, the Flyers come back and have a very good regular season, which sees them finishing 4th in the NHL. Sadly though, they have a short-lived playoff run and lose to the Penguins in the first round in 7 games. Carter Hart in the regular season goes 40-21-5 and put up 8 shutouts. His goals against was a 2.63 and his save percentage was a .917. In 7 playoff games, he went 3-4 and had a .914 save percentage and a 2.51 goals against average. Once again, Carter Hart stays put at 90 overall and signs a 6-year, $8.6 million contract extension with the Flyers. Again, the Flyers have another solid season, finishing 8th in the NHL and put together a decent run where they lose in the Eastern Conference Finals in 6 games. Carter Hart's regular season has him finishing 32-22-6 with a .907 save percentage and a 2.87 goals against average. In the playoffs, he went 10-3-3 with a .926 save percentage and a 2.4 goals against average. Despite the steep run, Hart falls back to an 89 overall. The Flyers for the 3rd straight year make the playoffs as they finish 13th in the league, but are knocked out early in round 1 to the Carolina Hurricanes. Carter Hart had another season like his prior one as he went 32-22-9 with a .910 save percentage and a 2.72 goals against average. In the playoffs, he struggled going 2-4 with an .891 save percentage and a 3.53 goals against average. Once again, he decreases in overall and is now sitting at an 87 overall. Year 14, the Flyers are in the playoffs once again and fall in the 2nd round to the New York Rangers. Carter Hart's regular season numbers take a dip as he goes 37-26-5 with a .901 save percentage and a 3.07 goals against average. In the playoffs, he did improve as he went 6-5-1 with a .925 save percentage and a 2.32 goals against average. After the season, he falls back to an 84 overall, which is what he was at when the simulation started. The Flyers make the playoffs for the 5th straight year and are swept in the first round. Carter Hart, for the first time in the simulation, is not the starting goalie and in the regular season only went 4-4. He had a .915 save percentage and a 2.47 goals against average. He increased to an 85 overall and did not make an appearance in the playoffs. In his 2nd year as a backup, 82 overall, Carter Hart played in 18 games and went 8-9-1. His goals against was a 2.88 and his save percentage was a .902. Once again, he did not make an appearance in the playoffs, and year 16 is the last year of his current contract, and he signs a 1-year, $6.7 million extension in the offseason. So apparently in year 17, Carter Hart decided to retire. I checked the retired players list, but it didn't come up. But as you can see, he literally just isn't in the NHL or the AHL. So I guess that's it for Carter Hart. So yeah, not a bad career at all for Carter Hart. Numerous winning seasons with solid stats. He never won a Vezina, but he did win the best prize of them all in year 1, and that is the Stanley Cup. Carter Hart's win total with the data I have has him finishing his career with 540 wins, which would currently have him as 3rd all-time, and 71 shutouts, which would have him tied for 12th all-time. I apologize for the confusing ending, and also, as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.